NFL talking head's been around a long time. Thinks the Commanders will be one of the NFL's top sleepers in 2024.
So you're asking me which NFL guy?
Yeah. Who do you think it is?
I'm
gonna play it for you. I need you to name. I need you to name this person.
Do that.
Name that voice.
Number 2 on this list. You don't believe in them. They're asleep. You were sleeping on them. I like the Washington Commanders to really wake up, guys.
I'm down.
Okay? Jaden Daniels, despite what the coach is saying that we need to see something before he's going to be named the starter, he's going to be your starting quarterback. Terry McLaurin is as good as they come in the National Football League. And I love Austin Eckler with Brian Robinson Jr., and you know how DQ, Dan Quinn, can rile some people up. This team is going to be good this year, folks. And I think they can make the playoffs. How does that sound?
Wow.
That's what I'm talking about.
Whoa. Okay.
Number 1, I don't know.
Playoff prediction from this person. You know who that is. Come on, guy.
Of course, Rich Eisen.
Yeah, Rich Eisen.
I feel like Eisen said the same thing about this team
A couple years ago.
Every single year he says this team's going to be good.
No, but he did a couple years ago. They were like, it was him and Greenberg.
Greenberg definitely a few years ago.
And even the guy with ESPN, Riddick. Those guys.
Louis Riddick.
Those were my guys.
Yeah.
Cowherd loves the Commander sleeper pick too.
Didn't
I do
Florio,
think there are a lot of people sleeper.
Wasn't it Florio's? I felt like it was
One
Florio's.
year.
Possibly, yeah.
I don't know.
He's usually a hater.
It always seems like the Commanders are some talking heads dark horse for the year.
We've never come through on it. Like we've never actually come through.
Yeah.
But we have been, the sexy pick a few times.
Maybe this is the year.
I do think they got their guy. And I tell you,
I think
again,
they did too.
Not to go back to Hard Knocks, but when it really pleases me greatly when I see Dable so excited
So
about
enamored.
what Jaden.
Yeah.
And he's like, I would move up for him in 2 seconds. Like,
Well, he's going to see Jaden Daniels in week 2 when the
that's right.
Giants come here to Commanders Field.
So I think we got our guy, and I do think that Rich is hitting on what Lurch is talking about, like the Eckler thing. Honestly, the Eckler thing, no one's talking about it. All the offseason stuff.
He was kind of an under the radar
It was
signing.
definitely under the radar.
He didn't
signing.
get a lot of money.
Yep.
Didn't sign for a lot of cash because he's an older running back, and he's coming off a subpar year
Yeah.
where he
Right.
was injured.
So no one's expected anything from
Yeah,
him.
Right. It's a perfect
his stock
setup.
is his stock's an all-time low.
It's
He's
a perfect setup.
basically a penny stock right
Yeah,
now.
I mean-
he's one of the stocks that Boone Jugs was selling us a few years ago on the air.
Right. No,
That all went to zero.
yeah.
Let's hope the Austin Eckler stock rebounds.
Now, I'm not willing to go so far as to say, like, we're definitely going to the playoffs or anything like that, because, it's something I might want to do. We might have to do during Hit the Skins is take a peek at the schedule again.
We can do that.
We might have to take a peek
I mean,
at the
there's
schedule
always
again.
2, 3, 4 teams, a handful of teams that make the
always
playoffs.
surprise you,
That
yeah.
surprise you from
For
the year
sure.
before.
So
So
it's just a big
Definitely-
leap.
I picked the schedule, but I didn't officially put it in the book, so I have to redo it.
All
I
right.
feel like I have to revisit it at some
All right,
point.
so I think maybe it's at we're gonna have Kevin at 7, then we'll do 7:20 to Hit the Skins. Maybe we'll revisit the sched.
that could work.
Yeah,
Schedule picking version 2.0.
yeah. We got to do it several times.
Many times, multiple
you
times.
just got to see what your vibe
So
is.
I would say do it soon, maybe today, and then like right before the season,
right,
like right before week 1 kicks off,
right.
before the game in Tampa.
Dude, it's wild when you watch the last episode. Maybe it was in the 3rd episode. Did you see when they had like Drake May in there?
Yeah.
And Drake's like standing up. I mean, it's really wild to see these guys.
Yeah.
And
we talked about
and
that
how
too.
they're quizzing them. And,
Yeah.
and
And they're just reciting plays like
Yeah.
off the top of their
and
head.
you've always heard this is what they do, and then they surprise them and they tell them to tell them the other play that he told them 10 minutes ago, regurgitate it back to them. But when you actually see it, it's pretty wild. But yeah, I like it, Cakes. I don't mind Rich Eisen. I don't mind them. You want to have somebody have some faith in what you're doing.
Sure, of course. Need somebody to support you.
We talked about it with Nikki yesterday. And, she's a pretty reserved person. She's not going to go out there. She's kind of like Kime that way. Like, she's not going to get ahead of her skis. But on paper, the roster, in my opinion, looks better.
Oh, it's definitely
Well, it has to be better because Adam Peters is now in charge of picking the players instead of Ron and his cronies.
I mean, don't you think
And
it's
the
has to be
coaching
better.
should be better.
Don't you think it's pretty much better at every position?
Well, there's a lot of positions that stayed the same.
I mean, Cam Curl, maybe because they lost Cam Curl.
They lost Cam Curl. That's a big loss.
That's what I mean. But the players that are here that weren't here last year, don't you think? And I guess I can't count Montez because he was traded, but I'm guessing that Armstrong's not as good as Montez. But for the most part, at every position, they're better. That's what I think.
I don't know. I think the tight end situation could be a good room.
Mm-hmm.
It could be a good room.
I think
see
it's
the video
improved.
Tischler put out there
Ertz
of Zach Ertz taking the one-handed catch.
Yeah,
he looks light on his feet. He doesn't look like some old veteran that can't get open.
He could still have another productive season or two in the tank.
Everybody likes Sinnott.
Yep.
Bring him along slowly.
I actually like Bates. I think Bates, and not that Bates is special, but what Bates is, he's versatile. He can block and he can catch. Like, he doesn't major in catching, but he can make 2 or 3 catches a game. You know what I mean?
I want him to be more of the block. Like,
I like
use
him being
his
versatile.
blocking expertise. Let Ertz and Sinnott do the bulk of the catching.
Yeah, but you don't want to be so transparent that every time Bates is out there, you're going to be.
I just think that Ertz clearly and Sinnott
sure, they're more athletic.
They're just better at that part of playing tight end.
I just think he's okay.
I'm not predicting playoffs, but
I'm not predicting playoffs.
The coaching staff is 400,000 times better than it was last year, and they're just going to be more prepared each week.
Right. It's called
their game plan is going to be better each week.
It's called addition by subtraction.
Yeah.
No more Ron, and Dan Quinn is running the show.
You know what else I like about
instantly makes you better.
What else I like about Jaden that they mentioned on the Hard Knocks? 3-time team captain.
Love
That's
that.
big.
Do you love the fact that he brings a basketball out to every practice?
I didn't understand it until you explained it to me.
Yeah.
And so it's part of his warm-up routine.
It is.
So, okay,
it's his
I get
thing.
it. I thought maybe it was just like he was bringing it a bit like Drabby's whoopee or something.
No, it's not a security item.
Right.
It's
helps
not
him
a
in his
good luck
warm-ups.
charm.
It's something
he likes
that he
the
utilizes.
when he puts the arc on the ball, it helps him kind of replicate what he's going to do with the football.
Drab, are you completely separated from your whoopee? Have you completely made the break?
I was separated this morning when I put it back in my bed and came to work.
Oh my God! So you still sleep with it?
Sometimes. Blake takes it a lot. Blake's a big fan
Do you
of it.
travel with it?
Ricks me.
Do you travel with it?
Nah.
Bring it to Loon Lake.
Nah. Won't be making the trip to Loon Lake.
When's he going to Loon Lake?
I don't know.
Yeah.
No, I'm not. Probably not.
You're not. Oh, okay. All right. But you were, prior to the kids, you had a bit of an issue. Prior to the kids. I would say you had a dependency issue.
Well, it's been dependent on it for almost 42 years now.
It's never let you down.
My thing.
Have you ever brought it into work? Is it all tattered and everything?
Oh, it has to be.
You've never with that,
No,
right?
no,
You would
no,
never do that,
You
right?
would never.
I mean, that would be like
sacrilegious.
sacrilegious.
Yeah. That'd be like desecrating the
my
flag.
most prized
we
possession.
know this.
Yeah.
We get enough rando cotton T-shirts, and I won't name any names in this studio.
Yeah.
Where I mean, he would never have to.
I just didn't know.
The
I didn't know how close to the whoopee he really was.
Yeah.
Like I didn't, I didn't know how much he shared with the
whoopee.
whoopee.
Would never.
Yeah.
He would never.
I just don't know.
Yeah. Too sacred.
Aren't you supposed? I think we did this with one of our kids. Aren't you supposed to cut it into little squares so that you can wean them off the whoopee? You ever heard that?
I've heard of that.
Yeah. So you just give them a little square of the whoopee so they still have a little bit of it with you.
Drab would sooner start rooting for the 49ers than we'd take a scissors to his whoopee.
1,000%.
Just never would do that. would never, not on his watch.
Right.
It's certainly not going to happen.
All right, what does Kevin have? Is there any good movies coming out this week?
Have you ever heard of Deadpool and Wolverine, EB?
I mean, I guess. I know they're doing a lot of PR.
I mean, it's one of the
He's
most
gonna love
anticipated movies
I
of
actually
the year.
I thought it was already out. I didn't even know.
It came out last night.
I predict he gives it a 4.5.